So we're going to get started. So just to start off our reading today, can we review our learning target board over here? So who would like to read this for us? What is our focus for today going to be? Jocelyn?
I can quote from the text to explain what the text says to and when during inferences.
Or drawing those inferences. All right, so we hear some words like quote, we hear inferences, and being able to explain that. So just before we get started, and we're going to get a prompt, let's review our anchor chart over here. So we have a chart that says making inferences. I want you to turn and talk to your partner. Will you guys review, what do you see on this chart? What is an inference, just to refresh our brain? So turn and talk to your partners. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to a minute. Conflict, go. Ava, and then who's your partners over here? Okay, so can I hear you talk?
About what you by using
Okay, and then what'd you guys say? How do we know it?
Feeling, trying to like it's happening, trying to figure out something.
All right, and eyes back up here in 5, 4. Thank you. I see some eyes. Oh, you guys are all ready to go. 3, 2, 1. Thank you. All right, I'm just going to call on someone. Will you just share what you and your partner just talked about? Ricky, what did you and your partner say?
Well, me and my partner said, well, figure out something you don't know about what you read by using text evidence and my
Experiences. Nice. And I really like how you said me and my partner. My partner and I are talking about that. All right. So today, as I'm walking around, I'm looking for, can you quote? Are we able to draw an inference? So I'm walking around and I'll be looking for that as we do this. And we're going to answer a close reading prompt. So let's go over a close reading prompt today. So it says, reread paragraphs 3 through 6 and 19 through 21. What inference can be drawn from the information on those pages? Explain how you came to that conclusion using quotes from the text. And of course, when we go back and reread, we're going to be doing what? Chris, thank you for that quiet hand. We're going to annotate. And it says, as you read, underline sentences or phrases that support your inference. So as I'm thinking to myself, what are some important things that we see on this reading prompt? Ashley?
Paragraphs 3 through 6.
Okay, so I might think, I'm going to circle those because those are really important. 3 through 6, and I also see that 19 through 21. Am I going to go back and read the whole article?
No.
No, just those paragraphs. All right, and then I'm thinking, okay, when I'm rereading, what am I looking for? So what are some important words we see? Aldo, I see that hand.
Conclusion.
Okay, so maybe explain how you came to that conclusion. And we're going to do that using quotes from the text. So we need those quotes. And Luis, what else? And you, all right, and Chris, I see your partner right next to you has it.
What inferences can be drawn from the information of those pages?
All right, nice. So we see that word inference can be drawn. So as we go back and reread, we're looking for inferences, and we're looking for, can we support it with quotes? All right, so in just a minute, we're going to hand out this graphic organizer that you guys are going to fill out. So you can see here, it says that we have an explanation or inference. So on this side, you're going to write your inference. And then you have 2 boxes here, and it says quotes from the text. So what I want is, how many quotes do you think we're going to fill in if we have 2 boxes?
Oh, wait.
Chris?
Just 2.
2. You're going to put 1 quote there that supports your inference, and then your other quote here that supports your inference. And again, if we're quoting from the text, what it needs to go around our words? Because it's not our words. Yaneli? Quotations. Do I need to say where I got my information from?
Yeah.
So I might put in parentheses that paragraph number. Okay? Any questions? Can you pass these out? Thank you. All right. So as we go around, you're going to have 2 quotes and an inference. All right? And I'm going to leave this prompt up here so that you and your partner can refer back to it. Any questions? Chris?
So is it from the story we read yesterday? nation at war?
Yes, and that's a super good question because I didn't really even say that. So we're going to be reading Nation at War. Such a good question. All right, any other ones? Who am I going to work with? Your partners, okay? Your shoulder partners. All right, I'm going to give us about 8 minutes and then I'll touch back on how we think we feel. All right, conflicts. Once you get your paper, start going. Nice, I like how you're going back through. What am I going for? All right, so what are we going to put on these 2 boxes? 2 quotes, and then what am I going to put over here? My inference, okay? So let's just get going. Try to find those paragraphs we're starting with 3 through 6 and start reading, okay? Yes. Yes, and if we look back over there, do we see that feelings and thoughts? So think about when we reread 3 through 6, what are we talking about? What have we been reading all about? The wars. So what inference, what feelings or thoughts can you get about war if you go back and reread that? And we've been reading this, so let's go back and think, is there anything that stands out to us, okay? So reread and then I'm going to come back and check on you, okay?
Soldier described his feelings in the what do you see how they suffer. Less than a century later, another young American soldier described in World War II. Take a combination of take a
till Monday night. I had to be.
Oh, and nice. I like how you're circling a word you're not sure. So you can first create your inference and then go and explain it, or you can put your quotes in.
So
what are you thinking is your explanation or inference?
what can be our first inference? Summary? No, what can be our first?
Well, think about an inference is what can we draw from this even though it's not stated in the text? So what can we say about wars?
That they're very sad.
Okay, so is that they're very sad? Are they easy things? No. Okay, so can you say that my inference
So what
is...
inference can we put or quote from the text?
All right, so what are some things we noticed in here?
That they were like really sad during the war.
Okay, they're
People
sad.
were sad of hearing the what's that called?
And I like how you're going back to your text. Wait, what did I just say? And then going back and trying to fix that.
People were sad to hear the Mullins and the Wounded died.
Okay, is that a quote?
Yeah. So,
All right, and then what are we going to put around him?
quotation marks.
Perfect. Okay, and make sure we're all...
Wait, where did you?
Ooh, I like it. What'd you guys write over here?
We can inference that it was sad and terrifying.
Okay, so your inference is going to go on this side. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but your inference will go over here. So just draw an arrow. How about that? Draw an arrow just so we know that that's your inference. Underneath, you'll put one of your first.
Yeah,
Quotes.
and then I was gonna write
Okay, and then what's a quote that supports that?
we were gonna write take a combination of fear, anger, hunger, thirst, exhaustion, disgust, loneliness, homesick.
Nice. So does that show that it's terrifying?
Wait, can I like put it
Super
over
good.
here so I can-
Yeah, just draw arrows. That's fine. I'll know what you're saying. Okay.
This side war is a bad thing from paragraph 20.
Ooh, I like it. And I like how you have that paragraph. We know exactly where it is. Okay. And what are you thinking? What's your inference going to be?
That the war is a bad thing.
Okay. So you can even start putting that there. My inference is that. Nice. Thank you both so much. Okay, so what is something you guys talked about? What is your quote?
The surgeons operating on them, it made them shed tears.
Nice.
How they suffer.
Okay, and what's that showing you? Because of that quote, it's sad. Can we think of other words? So when you get to my inference is that maybe you use that word sad or think of other words, okay? So good job, keep writing. Okay, so did we read all of them? Okay, so we're thinking to ourselves, what is that inference? What can we say about, what are we reading about in this article? War, okay? So we just read 2 sections of the paragraphs. What can we draw an inference? What was not really stated but we can infer? How were these wars? They were bad, okay. So can we say, is there enough information to back that inference up?
Yeah,
So my inference is what? And you can add more words too. My inference is my inference is what? My inference is what do we want to say?
war's bad.
That war is bad. What else could we say besides bad? What's other words?
It gets all bloody.
Okay, so it's bloody,
It lasts long.
it's long. Okay, so those are all words we can say. So it is, war is bad. I like how you're saying war is bad so we know what you're talking about. And then are we able to support that with evidence? Okay, so then when you guys, I'm gonna come back in just a minute. I wanna see, can you get a quote in there, okay? All right, Ava, where's your paper? Oh, it's over here? It's flying away. Okay, so what is something you're gonna write for your inference? What are you guys talking about as a group?
We're writing like how this makes us feel.
Okay, so your inference of your feelings and thought on this is what?
Makes us feel sad.
And mad because it makes me kind of mad because it's like you go to war for a reason, but killing people just for like something would be like probably not necessary.
Okay, so it's like not necessary. I like it.
This sad war is a bad thing.
All right, and I'm gonna add on 2 more minutes for you guys to keep discussing. So 2 more minutes and then we'll start sharing. Yes. Yep, you're doing it perfect, yeah. And then will you tell me, so what is something you wrote there, and then what was your inference? Yes.
My inference is that having a war is a bad thing.
Okay, and what evidence backed that thought up?
It says in paragraph 20, this sad war is a bad thing.
Okay, so you're saying that this sad war is a bad thing. Can we use, when we do our inference, can we use other words to describe it's a bad thing? Why is it so bad? So what, in our own words, how could we say it's so bad?
Because many people are dying.
Okay, so we can say because many people are dying. What else did it show you that it was a bad thing? So this is the time you can start using your own words, okay?
This said war is a bad thing. My papa went and died in the army.
They were.
Bless you.
Nope, you just need one inference. So some people are doing 2, but you just have 1.
The person like felt sad,
Watching them
lonely.
Okay, yeah, watching them sad and suffer. So now you just need 1 more piece of evidence that supports this thought. Okay? Nice. Okay, what's your quote that you're inserting there? What is your quote that you're backing your inference up with?
This war is a sad. This sad war is a bad thing. My papa went and died in the army, and my big brother went to and got shot.
Nice, that's super good. And then don't forget to put quotes and then the parentheses where you got it from, okay? And you just need 1 more, and if we run out of time, then we're gonna share out. What? We'll find it after. All right, I know some of you are still working. Finish up your thoughts, and I need pencils down and eyes up here in 5, 4, thank you, Gabby, I see your eyes, and Sandra. 3, Jaden, thank you. 2, pencils down if you can. I know some of you are finishing, that's okay. All right, 1, 0. Okay, so I know some of you quite didn't finish, but that's okay. I just want to go around and I want to hear some of your guys' inferences and then how'd you back that up with evidence, okay? So first I'm going to say just share what do you think your inference is, okay? So what are we talking about that war? What was that inference? Nathan, what did you and your partner write or say right here? Or over here, I mean.
My inference is this war is a bad thing.
Okay, do we agree with that? I heard, when I walked around, I heard a lot of these are bad things. Did anyone put anything else? Let's hear another one. Ava, what did you and your group say for my inference? Go for it. And if you want, you can have one of your partners so your partner can help you out. Okay, so Aldo, will you help your partner out? What did you guys talk about?
This makes us feel bad and sad for all the people who risk and sacrifice their life for victory.
Okay. All right, and then I'm going to call on this person. Will you share a piece of evidence? So that quote, the other side of yours, that quote to support your inference. And Allison, I'm going to call on you. Exactly, you got it.
Okay, you put this sad war is a bad thing. My papa went and died in the army. My big brother went to and got shot.
Okay, so we hear those things. Does that show that this war is kind of bad or sad? Yes, we're hearing that. And then I'm going to have one more person share your quotes, and you just got to pick one, and then we are going to move into centers. Jocelyn, what did you and your group say for a quote?
My aunt had 3 sons, and all have died in the army.
Nice. Okay, so we can hear people are dying, people are not getting shot. Is that kind of a scary thing? Yeah, I heard someone say the word terrifying. It might be terrifying. All right, so I really like those conversations we are hearing. You guys working together super well, so very good job. We are gonna rotate and get into our center. And again, we're gonna continue to keep talking about inferences. So tomorrow, we'll be drawing more inferences and keep practicing this skill. So we are gonna rotate into our next center, and I'm gonna have you guys just hold on and wait real quick. I'll give you directions. I know you know what you're ready to do. Okay, so on your way to your next center, will you please make sure your name and number is on that paper? Will you turn in your papers? So with timing, what I did is just, we spend a lot of time reading the text beforehand, before we dive deeper. So I just really focused on, I want them to be able to quote, and I want them to be able to draw an inference. So just having them ready for that and prepped. And then, really it was kind of what it was in there. We wanted them to quote 2 times, but if you are worried about timing, you can always just have them, can they quote 1 time? Some of my students, when I walked around, they weren't ready to stop. And so we kind of, they got 1 quote, so then, but they were still able to make that connection. They were able to draw an inference or an explanation and then be able to quote once. So I think if you're worried about timing, pulling them early, having them start sharing so they can get 2, but just worry about can they do 1? And then if they can't, can I stop earlier and model it?
Good. I noticed that you said that you did inferencing, you quoted. Mm-hmm. You obviously went through the student objectives before you did the lesson, and and you did your lesson plans. I did notice too that some of the students were discussing more than they were writing. How do you feel about that?
I love the discussions and pushing them as much as possible. And when I walk around and hear that, the way the language and vocabulary they're all using is amazing. So sometimes they don't get the whole graphic organizer and worksheet done. I can hear it by walking around that they got it, or it's just getting it out on words. So I think pushing them to discuss as much as possible is amazing.
Having those collaborative conversations. Mm-hmm. Awesome.
A big thing is the way the students are paired, and that's just kind of something I've prepped from the beginning of this whole benchmark, is just having them work with their partners are either like a high language speaker and a low one, and they're able to support each other. So having them work in those partners is a really big planned out thing. And then again, we spent time on the anchor chart. So they kind of able to refer back to that, you know, are they able to know what an inference is? Here's a reminder. And then, yeah, just pretty much that. And yeah.
Going back to the anchor chart, and then also when you were going over the instructions, I can tell that you do that routine every day, because you went very quickly through both. The students were able to pull what they're supposed to do, and then you moved on. Is that, am I right? That
Yes,
that's something you do
every day. And that's the biggest thing I would say is consistency, is just like repeating. I do so much of repeating. Okay, when we go to read for the first time, we annotate, or we do the close reading. It's such a routine that they're not kind of thrown off by the big words in the text. It's just, they know it, we're not scared, we can read through it and work it together.
And then you're not stretching out the lesson by having to go back and explain that every single time.
I really liked their conversations they were having. I would say that went well. And the way they were talking about it, I think they knew what they wanted. They knew the quotes. But I do think where we need to go in the next direction is, what is that inference? How does that look when you write it out, or that explanation? And maybe my directions on the graphic organizer, they were starting to change it up a little bit, which is completely fine because it's whatever works for them. But they were just a little confused on, okay, one inference and here's my two quotes. But I feel like they all were able to talk about it. They were able to get evidence. They were looking back at the evidence and like, wait, I need to say this, and reread. So it was really cool to see their conversations.
And considering fifth grade is the first year that they have to have 2 or more main ideas of a text, up through 4th grade it's 1. So you're jumping from 1 to 2 or more main ideas in 5th grade, and you have new materials.
Yes.
So do you think that kind of plays into what you're seeing in your classroom?
A lot. So, and then that's just the thing, is being able to model it, and then they worked in groups, and now they're working in partners. So doing that gradual release, because it's a lot more than what we've had in the past. So.
Would you change anything if you were to redo this lesson?
Again, maybe just being more clear on that graphic organizer or what I want. But again, I feel like by looking at everybody's, they're able to pull that quote and make some sort of an inference or explanation, and that was the objective. But then now it's taking it to small group. We're going to keep practicing inferences, keep it up, and then hopefully by the end of the unit they'll have it mastered.